Suzuki GT185 for sale on eBay. In the paperwork with the bike, it comes with its V5 registration document. It's got what I think is probably its last MOT test certificate, which ran out in March 2001. Just done an HPI check on the bike that shows it's all completely clear, no accidents or finance or anything else there in the bike's history to be concerned about. Has a service history with the bike. I actually think this was... No, it wasn't that. No, this one has got its service stamped at 520 miles, which was its original... two services there, 520 and 1626 miles. It's done by Speedway Motorcycles, who were the supplying dealer when it was new. It's got its owner's manual. It also comes with a Haynes manual as well. A few things to point out around the bike. The bike has been in storage and it's been protected with WD-40, and that's left an oily film on the bike, and you can see on various places around the bike there, when you look close, it wants washing off to make the bike look a little bit better. The bike does need a very good clean to see what you've got. Really, the engine does run. The engine sounds completely as it should do. I had one many years ago and it sounded just like that. So there's that. What else we got? The fuel in the tank is very old, and I would think possibly you could, by fitting just a fuel filter in line there, possibly carry on using that tank, but you really want to get the loose stuff out of it first, ideally. When I ran the engine, I used a remote tank. I disconnected the fuel line and connected a remote tank to that and ran it like that. I did have to connect a spare battery to the bike to start it, because the battery in there is too old to be of any use now, so you will need a battery for it. I would recommend, if you buy it, doing an oil check just to make sure the oil is definitely pumping into the engine as it's supposed to before you run it too much, or run it anymore, ideally, because that's obviously a very important thing on a thing like that. There is oil in the old tank and probably fine, but just to be on the safe side. I did have a look at the fork legs. Now these are rubber gaiters. They didn't normally have those on there on this later model. That was on the 74 model that they didn't have the gaiters, but I've lifted them up. There is some pitting on the fork legs which has been cleaned off in the past, but it doesn't look like it's got any worse, and the fork seals are not leaking either. But I would have thought they might show a little bit of leakage if you start using it, because they will have gone hard with age, but just keep using them and they'll probably soften up, so I think you're going to be okay with that. So there we go. Main thing with the bike is the fuel tank is mucky. You want to clean that, fit a fuel filter, fit a battery, and with a bit of luck you just might get an MOT on it, because the lights appeared to work when I connected it up. So there we go. Good luck with the bidding.